This is another and campaign civic update. And today I want to talk a little bit about U.S. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. As I'm sure many of you have seen within the last 2 months, he's had 2 episodes where he's been talking to the media about very important issues and just completely froze. His staff had to take him away. They've tried to downplay it, and Americans are left to wonder what is going on with one of the leaders of our government. And I want to talk about why this is a very serious issue and not just something to laugh at. It's something we should take very seriously, and here's why. The United States Senate has been called the most important deliberative body in the world. Obviously, we're a world power and we cannot go to war. We cannot pass any legislation without the United States Senate. And so this is very important. When you have one of the leaders of the Senate, the leaders of the Republicans, Mitch McConnell, incapacitated, unable to communicate in ways that he needs to communicate. We already have a Congress that isn't doing as much as it should, especially when it comes to bipartisan legislation. We need policies to change Americans' lives, but none of those policies can happen. Nothing can get through the Senate without the minority leader at this point. Those conversations have to be had. We have to have someone who has the energy and can think through things in a way to get things done for Americans. And that's just not happening with Mitch McConnell, who is 81 and seems to be incapacitated or at a place where he can't do his job in the way that we need him to. But it's not just Mitch McConnell. We also have to talk about what's going on with Dianne Feinstein, who's the senator from California. She is 90 years old. She recently took about 3 months off for health issues. And when she came back, it was hard to tell that she was in a situation where she could do her job. She is on the Senate Judiciary Committee. This is where they choose judges. And she's held up votes to get judges on the bench. That's major. She's on the Intelligence Committee. This is the committee over some of our military agencies and our intelligence agencies, including the FBI. So we've had all these issues with the FBI, and we have a ranking member on that committee who can't do her job. She's on the Appropriations Committee, so money going out to government agencies and all that. She's on that committee, and also the Rules and Administration Committee. When she came back from her break, there was and it's very clear that her staff is voting for her. She began to talk one time. They told her to be quiet and just vote because what she was saying didn't make sense. And she was voting on something that was about millions and millions of dollars, but her staff was making the decision because she didn't even really know what the vote was about. This is not okay. We need to make sure these folks are stepping down. Now, word is that behind the scenes, we know that Ro Khanna has called for her to step down. He's a California congressman. But the word is that Nancy Pelosi does not want her to step down, because if she steps down, Governor Newsom said that he's going to put a black woman in her place, which would probably be Congresswoman Barbara Lee. But Pelosi wants Congressman Adam Schiff in that position. So they're leaving somebody who can't do the job in that position because they want to control who gets it next. That's not how democracy should work. And I would be remiss to leave out the president. I mean, there are questions about the president. Even most Democrats say that the president is too old to be in that position. He is 80 years old. We have to ask ourselves, and Trump isn't much younger. We have to ask ourselves, what role does someone being of that age play in the flourishing of our democracy, when we know that Americans need help, that Americans need policies and thinkers that can push them forward? Ultimately, these folks got to make the decision whether they can do their job, but voters have to make that decision as well. And so that's something for all of us to think about. If you appreciate this commentary, you should certainly listen to the Church Politics Podcast with myself and the Right Reverend Christopher Butler. Talk to you soon.